Hi, I'm Celeste. Do you struggle with money? Are you not reaching your goals? Are you depressed? Do you sometimes feel like you're stuck in your life? Do you sometimes sit back and go, I can't believe this is my life? If so, I just want you to know I relate because I've been there. I have been so broke. I have been so depressed. I have felt complete despair. And because of that, I was determined to get to the bottom of it. And why? Because on a conscious level, I knew that I had all the ability to make a lot of money, to live the life I wanted, to not be depressed, but I couldn't seem to get there. And more importantly, I couldn't understand why I couldn't get there. So I started reading a lot of books and learning a lot about the way our subconscious mind works. And so I'm sure you may have heard some of this. There's so many people that are talking about this now, thank God. And, when we're young, very young, like from the time we're babies, our subconscious mind is absorbing all kinds of messages and information that over time forms beliefs we have about everything, about yourself, about people you know, about the world, about money, about everything. And so as I started to learn about our subconscious mind, I started to understand my own programming. Like I started really thinking about the messages that I was raised with, especially about money. And by the way, when I say I was broke, I don't mean like I had $50 to my name. I mean I paid for a dozen eggs with nickels once, if that tells you anything. Which is a very uncomfortable situation, by the way. The cashier's just looking at you like, what the hell? Why nickels? Where I must have spent the quarters and dimes, and I didn't even have dollar bills. That's how bad it was. So I'm telling you, that's how bad it was for me. But I was able to turn that around in time. And I have a very completely different life now. And I want to help people because I came to LA as a performer. I was a dancer, singer, comedian. I'm a writer. I have a book coming out. But for years, I struggled. I mean, I was the poster child for the struggling artist. I was broke all the time. I couldn't reach my goals. I lived a really hard life for a long time. But now that I've turned all that around, I want to help other people because I know that other people hate their jobs, which I hated so many of my jobs. I hated being broke. I hated being depressed. And I went so far as to become a brain coach. Once I got to a certain point where I really understood our subconscious mind and our conscious mind, which is kind of like a spiritual take on our brains, I wanted to actually learn about the physical part of our brains and the functions of those parts of our brain to truly understand what's going on, because all of our problems and all of our solutions are in our minds, and our minds are in our brains. So I became fascinated with wanting to understand how our brains work. And now I want to pass on some of this knowledge because I still want to entertain people and I love to do that, but I really do want to help other people now because I just think there's a lot of very unhappy people in the world and they don't understand why. They don't understand that when we're young, we're taking in all this, information, which are really just turned into beliefs. It's not facts that we are digesting all the time. Like, for example, my dad used to tell us that you would not get a good job without a college education, which, by the way, was a terrible thing to tell kids. Don't ever tell them that. But that was his belief. He believed that you needed to go to college to make good money. So he used to tell us that. Well, then we believed it. Well, that's not true. We know plenty of people in the world that didn't go to college and are millionaires, billionaires even. So that was a lie that he believed that he then passed down to me and my siblings. Well, I didn't want to go to college. So when I went out into the world and started making money, for years I could not make more than $15 an hour because on some unconscious level, I believed that because I didn't have a good college education, I wasn't able to make a lot of money. I didn't realize that for years. It took me a long time for that belief to come to the surface. And I'm like, oh, that's why. Another message we used to get is you may have to do things you don't like to make money. Well, That's just a belief. What if you grew up with the belief like you'll never have to do anything you don't like to make money? Guaranteed that's what would happen. So based on these beliefs that we digest from our parents mostly, but our environment, our teachers, all of it, that forms our world experience. That's the way our subconscious mind works. It absorbs information when we're young, and then it turns into beliefs. And it's very deep rooted. And you can overcome your subconscious mind with your thinking mind, which is known as your prefrontal cortex. But it takes time and consistency. And these are the kinds of things that I'm going to be making more and more videos about. Our brains are the reason for this whole earth. Everything in the world is a result of the human brain. And for that reason, I'm fascinated by it. And I want to help anybody who is struggling. If you are, subscribe. Keep coming back for more videos. And I hope to see you next time.